Now,
If you loved the storyline of Talladega Nights, A Ballad of Ricky Bobby, then you will love this movie.
this is a movie called Rush. It is directed by acclaimed director Ron Howard, and it stars the upstart young Chris Hemsworth, Olivia Wilde a little bit, and Daniel
Don't forget
Bruhl.
about Daniel Bruhl, who played Nicky Lauda, sorry,
Yeah, absolutely do not forget about him.
and Alexandra Maria Lara, who plays his wife, and then just for the sake of adding a few people, Pier Francesco Favino, who played
Jesus.
like one of the managers. I probably mispronounced that, but that's alright.
Right. Nobody cares, really.
I mean, after the two main characters, there wasn't
Yeah.
the roles weren't very demanding for anyone else, so they were all fine.
No.
But I think a lot has to be said for Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Brühl, but we'll get to that later. We have to get
Right,
through some.
right, right. So, uh, we begin, and it's about racing. If you couldn't tell, it's called Rush. It's about Formula One, which is probably the most tolerable type of racing in existence.
Yeah,
I
I would go as far to say as like I would possibly watch Formula One racing if it was on in the United States
right,
instead of
right.
NASCAR. This just seems a lot more interesting.
Yeah. It can actually be exciting. And this movie actually made me like it quite a lot more. And it's about this rivalry between these two guys, Nicky Lauda and
James Hunt.
James Hunt, played by Daniel Bruhl and Chris Hemsworth, respectively. And it gets pretty intense.
Yeah, things start to heat up pretty quickly. They actually first meet each other on the Formula 3 circuit, which is like the minor leagues, I guess, for Formula 1. And Chris Hemsworth kind of starts off as the hot shot who basically seems like he's the undisputed best guy out there. But then Nicky comes along and starts stealing his thunder, and a pretty good rivalry starts brewing all the way up to Formula One, where they are both superstars, and it's a really great relationship because they're rivals and they want to beat each other, and they don't like each other at first, but it seems like eventually it becomes more of a they bring the best out of each other type relationship, and you know like they want to beat each other, but they don't dislike each other.
Right. Yeah, this movie has particularly strong characterization. The two main characters are really well developed. On one hand, you have James Hunt, who's kind of the playboy guy and kind of is just doing everything for fun, and then you have uh, Nicky, who's so calculated and focused on everything he's doing, and you end up actually liking both characters, and I think they're both done really well.
Yeah, from the trailer, it seemed like Chris Hemsworth was going to be playing the hero, and
Right,
Nicky Lauda was going to be, the guy we're not supposed to be rooting for.
right,
But by the end, I really didn't know who I wanted to win, and I think that's really impressive because they're such polar opposites, but you're able to, relate with and sympathize with both of them.
right.
And I think that goes to the writers and Ron Howard, the director.
Well, absolutely. The guy's a pretty solid director. Has had a couple good movies. Um, yeah. I gotta hand it to Daniel Bruhl. I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie before, and I thought he kind of stole the show. I thought he was pretty excellent.
I absolutely agree. He was phenomenal. you really sympathize with his character. It's like at first you don't really like him, or at least I didn't really like him that much. He's kind of a jerk, but I mean, by the halfway point, it's like I don't know who I like more.
Right. Yeah. Just this whole movie, it was balanced all the way through it. Um, Moving on, I think I can say that it was really exciting. Um, just the way just the way all of the racing scenes were filmed were really intense. And yeah, it may have been a little predictable, but the build up to kind of a climax was pretty great, I thought. Is there anything else about this movie? I think we've basically said the main things, the focal points of it. Is there anything else you can add?
Well, like you said, the racing sequences were done well, and it would be interesting to see what a real fan would think of them. But one thing I was disappointed in, and I'm not going to give anything away, but if you saw the trailer, you probably know one of the main points that happens in the movie. And it's a pet peeve of mine when trailers give away too much of the movie, so you know what's going to happen. And there's a part in this movie where if you don't know the story, you would be totally shocked. And unfortunately, I saw it coming. So uh, I feel like I would have enjoyed that part a lot more if I didn't expect it. But it's hard to really take take that away from the movie's score, or by the score I give the movie, because I mean that's more of a marketing thing. But
Right.
I think that slightly took away from my enjoyment. But I think it all pays off in the end.
See, that's not the same case for me because I actually didn't know that those spoilers were going to occur. I mean, we're not going to mention anything, but I guess I was lucky enough not to pay close attention to the commercials or something and just go by Rotten Tomatoes score or something. And I'm really glad I did because it paid off a lot. But is it worth the watch? I'll ask you first.
Um, I would say definitely check it out. It's not the kind of movie you have to go see in theaters, so if you don't want to pay the $10 or $12 or whatever, you can definitely get it on Redbox or Netflix, and it'll have the same effect.
Mhm.
But I definitely say see this movie. Um, I don't know if I would say it's in if to look for it in Oscar season, or like when the Oscars are on. But yeah, it's definitely worth the watch, and I'm gonna give it an 8.6 out of 10.
Wow, that's not even fair. That's exactly what I was gonna give it. Okay, so this movie's okay. I got a great pun here. This movie is kind of formulaic. Haha, did you get that one? Formula One, formulaic,
LOL.
but it's basically perfectly executed. There's nothing really I can take away from it except its predictable nature, which is fine because that's like every movie ever made. It's it's really good. It's possibly my favorite movie I've seen this year. I'm gonna give it the same score, an 8.6 out of 10, and it is definitely worth the watch.